Part 1. So tonight you better stop and rebuild all your ruins, because peace and trust can win the day despite all your losing. Led Zeppelin. Chapter 1. A Cafe on Main Street. We overstayed our welcome. We bullied, we pushed, we invaded, and when we were done, when the world had felt our presence in every corner of it, felt our hand on their backs, shoving our way into every aspect of their lives, faiths, even their very existence, we were hated. God, were we hated. In retrospect, I can feel no real surprise for what happened next. Our time had come. For our hypocrisy, for our crimes, we each paid such a terribly high price. The world we had known, the nation that our parents had been told to be proud of, a place of fast food and freedom fries, home of the consumer, center of capitalism, world leader, it all ceased to exist. It was a slow, painful end, an extended death rattle, as we slowly tore ourselves apart, and then allowed others to finish off what remained. What was left in the wreckage of the world that was? We were. And this is our story. My story, and the story of us all. We have survived. We have found a way to live on, in a world where ghosts haunt us and memories whisper in our ears. Life goes on, one day at a time, and by the skin of our teeth and the force of our will, we will continue. What else can we do? Jess's journal. Drink it slow. An unfamiliar face in the crowd swam into focus. The woman's face was prematurely aged, her brown hair streaked liberally with gray. Her brown eyes crinkled at the edges as she smiled at Jess. Jess blinked and accepted the steaming mug offered. She was sitting in a cafe, at a battered little table right across the street from Banks' Grocers. It had been the last place she had stood before being ripped from Belton some 17 months earlier. She couldn't see it right now. Too many people were blocking the way, staring in through the window, staring at her. Some people looked vaguely familiar, but most were strangers. The cafe, dimly lit and packed full of the mayor, Mr. Banks, and far too many others, was charged with excitement. Jess's fingers nervously traced the cracked formica top of the table and tried to will away the rising anxiety. She hadn't seen this many people in a long time. God, they were close, so close she could hardly breathe. Tina had scrambled under a table and buried her face in David's leg as he stood awkwardly. The little girl was shaking like a leaf. It had been a very long time since Tina had seen this many people in one place. David, his dark hair disheveled, a smudge of dirt on his cheek, wasn't doing much better. He kept attempting to move closer to Jess, seeking some amount of space between this overwhelming mass of strangers and him. Quincy stood at attention, glued to Jess's side, eyeing the crowd warily. Another mug appeared before David, who sat down awkwardly, his sister wrapped around his leg, clinging to him with a tenacity that would rival that of a lamprey eel. The same woman who had spoken to Jess lightly touched his shoulder. "Would the little girl like anything? I might have a packet of hot chocolate here somewhere." David shook his head. "No, thank you, ma'am. I'll just try and get her to drink out of my cup in a minute or two." The woman nodded and smiled again before slipping back behind the counter, giving up the space to Todd Stevens, the militia leader, Mayor Farley, and old Mr. Banks, who had, after all, been the one to discover them in the first place.